Hello beautiful creatures. If you're new here, I'm Cordelia and this is my channel Phyrra. I talk about bright and colorful gothic makeup, alternative fashion and lifestyle, and mental health, basically anything that I'm interested in. So if you would be interested in discussing these topics with me, please be sure to click that little subscribe button down below. I currently upload videos on Saturdays, and if there's an extra video, it might be like during the middle of the week, like on a Wednesday. It's really hard for me to do that right now because of my work schedule. So if you want to know whenever I upload a video, please be sure to hit that notification button so that you'll be the first to see it. So today's video is directly influenced by a video that Angie just put out this week, which was on her favorite fall palettes. And so it really inspired me to go through my collection and pull out what I think are like the best fall palettes that I have in my collection. So I shopped my stash. Plus I also shopped my stash for some singles from some indie brands that are, and well, just some brands in general that I think you might like. When I think about fall colors, to me, I think about harvest hues. So like golds, beiges, yellows, oranges, reds, stuff like that. I also think about berry hues. I think about cool, deeper greens, not like a fresh, bright spring green, but more like a deeper green or a mossy green. Probably some grungy green in there for sure. Let's see. Also, when I'm thinking about fall hues, I definitely think about jewel tones. I love jewel tones. I think jewel tones look amazing on me. We've also got some like mysterious mauves and some cool berries. So yeah, I cover basically everything that I love about fall. And I think that if you are somebody who loves warm tones and berries, you will probably love these picks. So the first palette we're going to talk about is the Sugar Pill Black palette. This is, I think, the C3 capsule palette. And I'm going to insert swatches and everything for you so you can see, because I swatched all of these for you yesterday. I tried to swatch them all outside before it started raining, but I didn't quite make it in time because I have a very short window from when I'm done with work at 5 o'clock until it started raining in the evening. Because if you've never been to Florida, during this time of year, it seems to usually rain around the same time every day. And right now that seems to be anywhere between like 4 and 6. So during that time it rains. So the Sugar Pill C3 Black palette is my favorite of all of the Sugar Pill capsules. I think I have 4 of them. I love the whole capsule concept. I love the fact that you have the case that has the little half mirror, but I really, really wish that the interior part that actually held the eyeshadows was not this like mess. I guess for my OCD tendencies or whatever, it's just like it feels too scattered. I would be so much happier if it was in like little bands or strips or squares or something. But aside from that, I love this palette. It's got a lot of like grungy hues and berry tones to me, and I think that makes it a lot of fun to play with. So the next palette that I have to show you is the Melt Gemini 2 palette. I'm a Gemini, so I always like to look at things that are supposed to represent my zodiac, but in general, I typically don't like most of the things. When I saw the Gemini 2, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. It's got a lot of really pretty peachy hues, red hues, and then a couple of really grungy, gorgeous greens. I really do feel like it hit a sweet spot for me with having just a couple of peachy shades, some like wines and reds, and then the greens. There's a lot you can do with this in my opinion. So I think for fall, you've got some of these lovely like harvest hues. You can just go bold with the reds, or you can hang out and chill in the greens. Plenty of mattes in this palette as well, especially if you are a hooded eye person like I am. My next palette choice is the Natasha Denona Zendo. The Zendo palette mixes jewel tones with those harvest hues. So you can see we have like the teals and greens over here, and then more of like the peaches and oranges on this side with some golds. I especially really, really adore the gold in here. I just feel like there's like a bronzy gold right here. It's really pretty. And then there's also like sort of like this peachy bronze with green reflex. So pretty. So this is a really fun palette, and I think that it is a great way to celebrate fall depending on what colors you feel comfortable wearing. If you want to be in normal hue, or like if you like more normal toned down like browns with just like a hint of peach or orange, you can definitely do that, or you can go much more bold with this. For palettes number 4 and 5, where I have Black Moon Cosmetics, I have the Black Metal Volume 1 palette, which, sorry, I always have a little bit of trouble opening these palettes. This is a gorgeous palette. It is all jewel tones, and you can see it's just really, really pretty. This is like a really awesome transforming shade. I especially love the gray right here, and the purple is really nice. And then we also have the, my palette's falling apart, the Full Moon Orb of Light palette, which is all mattes. And this is really great because you have like these great harvest hues. You have a really nice orange, really nice orange and a yellow and a red. And those three together give you like the perfect classic harvest hues if you wanted to do like a sunset eye in those colors. For palettes number 6 and 7, it's Nabla. So I'm gonna show you the Nabla Wildberry palette and the Nabla Coral Cutie palette. I know that you've seen me feature the Wildberry palette several times because I love the colors. I find that they work really well for me, and I love like the shifty topper right here, which you can put on top of almost anything, and it just is so much fun to work with. The mattes have a really nice texture, and these berries are perfect for fall. Like, they're so much fun. When you look at the coral palette, you've got basically like red, gold, and orange. Like, you have a little pink too, but this is another one I thought would be perfect for those fall hues. And as you can see in the swatches, the colors are really just, to me, they're very beautiful. I love the formula, and the berries and reds, I'm all about those colors. The next two palettes that I have, so for 8 and 9, would be the Natasha Denona Mini Gold and the Natasha Denona Mini Zendo. You may have things like this in your collection, but especially I love the Mini Gold because we've got some duochromes. You got these like greenish brown colors to go with the gold duochromes, and it's just a really great little palette. Mini Zendo was awesome because you've got all of these like peachy coral hues, and then you have like this really pretty silvery taupe, and these colors look amazing on my skin tone. So I'm all for these kind of like rusty colors for fall. Palette number 10. This is, I think, the last item I purchased from Tarte, and it is the Tarte Fall Feels palette. I actually really love the like pink plaid packaging, as weird as it sounds. I don't necessarily like that it's fuzzy because stuff can stick to it, but in general I just thought it was kind of cute and unique in my collection. I really like the layout of the palette. Like, having a mirror or not, I'm whatever about, but a lot of people really like mirrors, so I think it has a nice big mirror. I love the fact that it has a little blush and then all of the colors around it. I like the color choices because you've got like these fall harvest hues, and then you've got a couple of jewel tone metallics. So you've got to basically, like, all you're missing with this is you don't have any berries, but basically you can celebrate almost all of fall with these colors. And yeah, it's one of the few Tarte palettes that I actually kept in my collection because I love the blush. I like the composition, and the shades work for me. And so I think it's a fun palette to like shop your stash for in case you might still have it, or to see if you have something similar. Because I feel like the colors in general are kind of generic enough with it. You might have something that would give you like a similar feel. Number 11 on my list is the Too Faced Peachy Mattes palette. This might have been the last palette I ever purchased from Too Faced. I don't know. I don't remember when the festival palette came out. Those were, I think, this and the festival palette were, I think, the last two I ever purchased. And I kept them in my collection because I love these colors. These peaches and reds in here are very flattering. It's all mattes. I find the formula easy to work with on my hooded eyes. And I think it's really kind of like a great way to have neutrals and those fall harvest hues with a little bit of red. So if you have this in your collection, maybe break it out because I think it's perfect for this time of year. Number 12 on my list is the Lime Crime Greatest Hits palette. So this is supposed to be their 8 most popular shades, and to me this palette gives you a mix of some like cool tone neutrals and reds and peaches. So I feel like it's a great way to celebrate fall, especially with Botticelli. This wine color, oh my god, it's probably like my top 3 favorite colors from Lime Crime and their eyeshadows. Such a good shade. Number 13 on my list is the Lime Crime Prelude Chroma palette. This is a mix of harvest colors because you've got like your copper and your golds, and then you have jewel tones with your teal and your purple. And I don't know, I think it's a really beautiful collection. Again, I really love the eyeshadow formula from Lime Crime. I find the mattes to be on the sheer side, but you can build them up, which is great if you have a heavy hand like I do. And the shimmers are very highly reflective. I really like that formula. And as you can see in the swatches, they are just gorgeous. I think that this is an unexpected palette choice for fall, but to me it's a perfect one. Number 14 on my list is probably something that's very unexpected, but it is the Linda Hallberg Enchanted Secrets palette. And the reason I chose this is because it is a duochrome palette, but you've got like these smoky, moody, cool duochrome here with Orphic. And then you have like some golds and greens and like kind of like orange and red like hues with the iridescence. So I feel like this would be a very versatile palette for any season, but especially if you're wanting to like have a little bit of harvest colors with a duochrome but not go over the top. So this is an awesome choice in my opinion. And you probably already have colors like that in your collection, because I think that these are some of the most popular duochrome combinations. My next palette choice is Milk Cosmetics She's in Parties, which is smoky berries, like cool tone, moody mauves, however you want to put it. But this is just such a beautiful palette. If you love berry hues like I do, be sure to visit my blog post up here that is DIY Cool Berries. I basically put together with a bunch of indie eyeshadow singles, like a bunch of my favorite cool berry hues swatches, so you can see swatches from tons of indie brands and all different kinds of like cool berry tones to see if there's any that you like. So I have stuff from like Sugar Pill and Nabla, and I can't even think of who else, but if you're into cool berry tones, you will love that. So everything I've shown you so far was purchased by me. The next few things that I want to show you were PR samples. The first is the Sigma Cor-de-Rosa, and this actually reminded me a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, except I like this formula better. It's very much harvest hues. You've got reds, pinks, berries, golds, neutrals, oranges, so you've got basically everything you need to make some really fun fall looks with this palette. The next palette choice I have for you is Urban Decay's APHRODISIAC. I love this palette. This is the palette that I brought with me when I went to Scotland, and it's got some berries and wines and a couple neutrals, and I found this to be a very versatile, useful palette for me to travel. If I remember correctly, this might have been the only eyeshadow I brought with me to Scotland, or I might have brought like one or two singles. But I really love this palette, and I feel like with the rose gold and the wine and the neutrals, it's a nice way to have fall colors but still feel like elegant. So if you have this palette in your collection or anything like it, you might want to go dig it out. And yeah, I hope that seeing swatches of all these will encourage you to go and play in your collection and your stash. Number 18 is the Game Beauty Adventure palette, and I feel like this is a very unexpected choice at first glance. So this is what the palette looks like. You can see it has a mirror, and then it's got these shades in it. It has a lot of gorgeous greens and jewel tones that, in my opinion, really are making it a sleeper hit for fall. So I think it's a lot of fun. As you can see from the swatches, it's very pretty. So those are all the palettes that I recommend. I do have a palette I want to show you that I do not recommend. I spent my Ulta points on this palette and unfortunately can't return it. This is the Buxom Hot Toddy palette. At first glance, to me, this looks like it's going to be a great fall palette. You have a really nice light neutral blush, you have two matte eyeshadows, and then I thought you had a like bronzy gold and a copper. But as you can see from the swatches, the metallic colors are so similar. Like I don't really see much of a difference on my eyes or my skin tone from them, and I'm not really a fan. Additionally, I would be really curious to see if this palette shows up on anything, if this palette can even show up on deeper skin tones, because I feel like it's really not going to show up on deeper than light medium skin. I really, really wish that Appletini had been a gold metallic instead of a burnt orange metallic, because having the burnt orange metallic with a copper, like they're just too close in color. Now on for the part that I think you're really going to enjoy. I wanted to share some of my pretty singles, and I went through and shopped my stash for like what I have in my stash. And I used to have tons and tons of indie eyeshadow singles. Maybe I should do maybe I'll reorganize this and do like a makeup tour at some point. But like I do not have a ton of singles anymore because I got rid of them because I wasn't using them. I just couldn't figure out a way to like rotate through them and use them. So I gave them away because they were just sitting there doing nothing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share these singles with you and insert swatches now. You're going to be surprised by some of these because some of the ones that I went through and found were like my Tarte Chrome paint pots, which I love, which I loved these, and they had some unexpectedly really pretty colors. We have Wild at Heart, which is kind of like a light beige with a really, really strong turquoise shift. I love shades like this for lid colors. Tarte Unleashed is a purple. Tarte Steal the Show is a gray. Tarte Caramel Apple is kind of like I'd say like an orangey, bronzy kind of color. Tarte Frosé is like a rose gold. Tarte Top Yak is like a golden bronze. I also included Phyrra's Aphrodite's Evening Gown, which is a beautiful color. Darling Girl Mistress. Oh my god, I love this color so much. It's like a beautiful berry purple kind of base with a strong iridescent green shift. And when I was going, and then we have Silk Natural Spitfire. When I was going through my collection to try to find some of my cool singles, I also found my Ciate singles, and Ciate Entwine is gorgeous because it's like a really, really shiny, reflective rose gold. And Ciate Wicked is actually like a very similar color, almost similar enough I could call it a dupe for Darling Girl Mistress. I'm so sad that Darling Girl is no longer in business and that this color doesn't exist anymore. So I was kind of trying to look through my collection to see if I had anything that was remotely similar. And I was thrilled to find out that yes I do, because of the Ciate. Let me show you the Ciates up close because they're very much like the Tarte Chrome pots. You have a little pot and you have this little thing to tamp it down. And people always seem to think that their product has been tampered with. No, it gets covered in product when it shifts and whenever it is shipped to you. So that's just how it is. Let me run through the other colors here. We have Ciate Entwine, Aromalie Kupala, Sugar Pill Moneymaker, Sugar Pill Brick Toast, My Pretty Zombie Brisket, Aromalie Depths of Erebus, Silk Natural Scream, Ciate Wicked, and Meow Santa Baby. So I really love eyeshadow lid colors that are like these. This is Ciate Entwine, which is like the highly reflective rose gold. So it's almost like white base with like a iridescent pink rose gold shift. And then this is the Tarte Wild at Heart, which is like a beige with a turquoise shift. These are like, if I'm doing neutral makeup, this is the type of color that I want to go on my lid to make it look like my skin, but better with the iridescence. And this is the Ciate Wicked, which I just think looks so stunning. It's so, so pretty in here. I feel like Wicked is a really great dupe for my Mistress color from Darling Girl since they're gone. So anyway, I had so much fun shopping my stash to make all of these swatches for you and pull out what I feel like are my best fall palettes and fall singles. I hope that you really enjoyed seeing this. If you haven't already, please be sure to head over to Angie's channel and watch her video. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, beautiful creatures. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry that I have been so slammed at work that I have not been able to get out content the way I want. I miss making content for you. Believe me, I really, really do. I am going to stay positive that things are going to improve, and I hope that things are going well with you. Just know that I really miss you. I always check comments here. I do my best to respond to comments on here and Instagram and in the Facebook group. So if you're missing me, hit one of those places. Let me know what your favorites were from this video in the comments below. I love you, my friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.